The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Well, there you have it, Sharon. She tried to call, and they weren't having it. They were not letting her speak, and they didn't even want to hear any of the information.
I remember hearing her when she called into Carl Gallup's show. I did hear that live, and yeah, she's done everything that she can. And these congressmen and women just basically they've been just stopped in their tracks over this. They don't want to be the one or one of the ones who says, we need to investigate this. Something is not right. Someone has gotten away with creating a forgery. The forgery of a government record is a federal felony. So we're not going to let this go. And if that congresswoman, and I know who it is because I've looked at her picture on her website, I did a story, I think, mentioning this, but we're not going to let this go. If she doesn't want to be one of the people who saves America, or at least takes us in the right direction so that we can save America from an imposter who's got fraudulent records, he's got a cabal around him who have pushed him in and kept him insulated and allowed people to die, like the extortion 17 men, and the people in Benghazi and many of our other servicemen and women, and all kinds of other things happening. We're not going to have this in America. They might think that they've gotten away with this. And again, if that congresswoman doesn't have the courage to step forward and say, you're right, an investigation needs to be made. And here's another point from my letter on that note. Why can't a grand jury do the investigation? Why are we always talking about Congress doing an investigation? They're politicians. They're steeped in their own self-preening in a lot of cases. They're very vain people. They're very surfacey if they've been in Congress for a while. And you notice the ones coming forward have not been in Congress for a while. I'm not sure about Representative Barletta, yours, but Stockman is new, and Yoho is new. And I would guess that anybody else coming to this without too much trepidation at this point, because others have first come forward, they are probably new or one of the newer ones in Congress. It's the ones who are entrenched, and they're worried about how they're going to look, and they're worried about, well, my constituents want free stuff, so I want to keep giving them that. What we need to worry about now is, in whose hands is our country right now? People like Eric Holder, people like Valerie Jarrett, Hillary Clinton had an awful lot to do with the situation in Benghazi, I'm quite sure. They all must know who Obama really is. I have sources that have told me that they do. Has it been proven yet? No. But more and more is coming out. And we need to expel this person from the White House and then bring him up on criminal charges. And that's the problem. It appears to be more and more of a big criminal case, perhaps rather than a civil, although I do think civilly he should have been forced to prove who he was during the presidential campaigns, and the judges just let it slide that he had this forgery for a birth certificate. It's as if the emperor has no clothes and nobody wants to see it. But we will get, I believe, enough congressmen and women on board to acknowledge the fact that something needs to be done. And again, it should be a grand jury of citizens, of qualified U.S. citizens who are sworn in and impaneled to look at the evidence, and then they can make their recommendations, whether it should go forward to a prosecutor or whether it shouldn't. If they don't think there's enough evidence, then fine. But really, citizens should be doing this. They used to be the buffer between the government and the people, and if we're really going to have a government of, by, and for the people, we the people need to not only get involved, but we need to do what we used to do, which was participate on Fifth Amendment grand juries that would analyze, independent of a prosecutor, they would analyze evidence and they would decide yay or nay to go forward or not when it had to do with charging anyone with a crime, whether it was a public official or whether it was a private person and some petty theft or something. But we are the ones who should be deciding whether or not there's enough evidence to bring Obama into a criminal situation and charge him with crimes.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.